Okay, so this is part 5 to the Waltman family reunion in 1984, the summer of 1984. So anyway, I had left off with Aunt Marie telling me that there's a right way, the wrong way, and the Waltman way. And I said to her, okay, there might be the right way, the wrong way, and the Waltman way, but there's also my way. And she looked at me and she smirked and she said, "Darling, I love you already. But there's one thing you need to promise." And I said, "Okay, what's that?" And she said, "Don't ever sass me." Because she said, "You have some sass about you, but don't ever sass me." And she said, "I loved you already. I love you already." And I said, "Well, I promise not to ever do that." No, I said, I'll try to promise not to ever do that, but I can't actually promise because, what if it does happen? Then I broke my promise, and I didn't want to do that. So, and then the promising of the promises came later at the reunion. But as she said, that's all I can ask you if you try. But she said, don't ever sass her, and I will get along just fine. Because I didn't know at the time that I was a great deal younger than anybody. I knew I was younger. I was actually the youngest, as far as like nieces and nephews were concerned. There were cousins, of course, that were younger than I. But as far as like from the, like, say, Grandma Waltman's kids, their offspring, like Aunt Marie's kids, Ollie's kids, the other uncle's kids. I was the youngest, as far as a niece or nephew. And I was 19 years old in 1984 when I met the Waltman family, or I actually became family to them. And I didn't want to sass anybody or talk back, but I knew my mouth, and my mouth always had a problem. Sometimes it still has a problem, but I try not to let it get out of control. When I was young, I did. And I didn't realize a lot of things that I said, or how I said them. And I learned. Sometimes I learned, sometimes I didn't learn. And that's just how it was. But, so anyway, like I said, Aunt Marie liked what I said because she said, then your way is the Waltman way. But Tony had told me that when Tony and I first got together the previous year in 1983, and he goes, there's a wrong way, no, the right way, the wrong way, and a Waltman way. And I'm like, well, what's the Waltman way? And Tony said, well, that's the right way. So what's the right way? Well, if it's right, then it's wrong, and then wrong is wrong, and then if it's the Waltman way, then that's the right way. That's the only right way to be. And that's why I said, well, there might be a right way, a wrong way, and a Waltman way, but no, there's Teresa's way. And Aunt Marie referred to it, and she that I had sass about me, and she loved me already, but promised me one thing: don't ever sass me, and we'll get along just fine. And I always did get along with her. Except there was a couple of times that her and I did have a little bit of confrontation, which were misunderstandings, really. I'm going to say, yes, they were little arguments, but they were misunderstandings between my side and her side, and stuff that was said that wasn't true, but that's later. I've already done videos of those, but I will retouch on those because I just want to go forward, starting from the beginning and moving forward. So anyway, we stood there for several minutes. I just don't remember how long I was in the kitchen. I know it wasn't long. So she takes me by the hand and takes me, back outside, and we get outside, and Tony and my father-in-law and Uncle Tom are outside the door. The door is open. I I don't even remember it having a screen on it. There might have been, but I just remember the door was open. And we walk out, and my father-in-law's there, Tony's there, Uncle Tom's there, Uncle Wayne's there, and I met Uncle Bud, and Uncle Bud was the next uncle I met, and I greeted him and say, "Hi, Uncle Bud, I'm Teresa, Tony's girlfriend," and gave him a hug and a kiss I kissed him on the cheek, gave him a hug. He said, "Hello, it's nice to meet you." He was always respectful towards me, always, and he never disrespected me. No one ever disrespected me, really. They were all always so kind, and and then I met Uncle Bill and Aunt Maxine. I met Uncle Tom's wife, Aunt Rose. Sharon, I met her, I believe, also because Uncle Wayne was there, so I met Aunt Sharon. And some of the cousins who was the uncles and kids, whoever else was there. I don't remember everybody that was there. I could not name names. I met Aunt Marie's sister, Aunt Faye. I was not close to her at all. I mean, I didn't see Aunt Faye a whole lot. She didn't always come down from Northern California to Southern California when there was a family gatherings. Normally Uncle Bill and Aunt Maxine did. Aunt Faye generally did not. She came down, I know, when my father-in-law turned either 50 or 55. I don't remember which year he turned, whatever it was. But she came down for that because we had this big gigantic birthday party for him. And everyone came for that. And anyway, that's later, so I don't even want to go into another story about that stuff, because there's a story, and stories always have a story within a story. So I just don't want to jump forward. I have the tendency of doing that. And so anyway, so I meet who's ever there, standing there, and I go and greet them. Everyone's coming up to me because I'm the new kid on the block, and everybody wants to know, who is this? This is the new face. So I remember talking to different people, family members that were there. Like I said, I couldn't name them right now offhand because I don't remember. There was a lot of people. And then I would be like looking, turning, and like, where's Tony? I didn't feel at any time, I didn't feel uncomfortable. And normally when I was young, especially, I was 19, I would be uncomfortable around people I didn't know. A little timid, standoffish, shy. Trust me, on how I grew older, I was not that shy. But it was uncertainty. I was unsure. I was around people I didn't know. And in some ways it was kind of scary, even though I felt comfortable. I just wasn't sure on anything. So as I go, I met a bunch of people, family, at one time, because there was a lot of them there. And like I said, I don't know anybody's ages. I just know everybody was older than I was. And I was 19, and I did not even look 19. I looked very young. So it's like, who's that girl? And then it's like, you're how old? 19. I'm 19. I'm 19. I don't know how many times I said I was 19, but I said it a lot, quite a few times. And so before we went to the campground and everything was all paid for, Aunt Marie and Uncle Bud, my understanding and memory was they prepaid for everything up front out of their pocket, and then went around and when we were at the campground said, okay, this is like did it by couples or individual, however they did it, that I don't remember, but they came and said, this is what is owed for your space rent, whatever. We had a tent, so that was a different price than an RV, if I remember correct. And I don't remember, actually. I don't know. There might have not even been a different fee. I don't know that. But we had a tent, and, Aunt Marie just gave it to Tony. This is what you guys owe for the, they even paid for the food. Everything was all paid for. They paid for it. And then we just gave them the money for whatever it is, what was our share for the space rent at the park, and whatever the food came to, and was divided down. So, that's what we did. We gave Aunt Marie, Tony actually gave Aunt Marie the money. Although, Aunt Marie gave it back to us later. and said, "You're not paying." But I don't remember why she said that. But I'll get to maybe I'll remember as I go through it, but I doubt it. I just know that she gave it back to us. She gave it back to Tony. And anyway, and then I thanked her for it. So anyway, so before we went to the campground, they were having this picture taken. I mean, like I said, we didn't even know anything about this. I didn't, of course. And so they were getting everybody gathered in the front part of the property of the house, and had everybody like space out to according to like how tall you are and stuff, and then put family couples here, along. And then Grandma Waltman was in front, and I was in all the way up in front while everybody was lining up and stuff, because I'm not family. And so they were having this big picture taken, and it was going to be in the newspaper. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of Grandma Waltman's age at the time, and that's why we were doing this family reunion. I don't remember that either. I'm only guessing. I'm speculating. So nobody call me on this, because I do not remember. And if I don't remember something, I'm going to say I don't remember. I'm not going to make anything up. So I just know that this picture was going in the newspaper for whatever reason. And so I'm up there. Aunt Marie is coordinating, get over here, get over here, get over here, go over here. And there was somebody else standing with her. I don't remember who that was. And she looked at me. She said, "Teresa, go stand over there by Tony." I said, "I'm not even family. We're not engaged, Aunt Marie. I'm just Tony's girlfriend. Don't argue with me. Go stand over by Tony. I told you you're going to be my niece. Go," she says. "Go." Okay. I went over there where Tony was and stood next to Tony. And I said, "I guess I'm having my picture taken." I kind of felt odd doing that, because I wasn't family, and they were doing this big family picture. I mean, I was glad they included me in it. It just felt kind of strange for me. And I guess it shouldn't have, but it did. And so I did what I was asked to do, and stood by Tony. They took a couple of pictures. They wanted to make sure that they got a good picture of a good picture. Nobody was like yawning or turning away or closing their eyes. So I remember there was a few pictures that were taken. I remember standing there for several minutes. I don't know for how long. It wasn't like a large lengthy time, but I remember we were all standing there grouped together, and they were trying to position everybody and get everybody in this picture with this whatever camera they were taking. They might have even had a photographer, I don't remember. I know somebody was taking the picture, and they took several shots of the picture to make sure they got the right one that they wanted. And so I do remember that they had got the picture. I only seen it the one time that best of my knowledge. If years later in 1986, when we were managers for Motel 6, Aunt Marie brought some pictures there to show me. That could have been one of them. I don't remember. I just remember seeing the picture once, and that was at the family reunion at the park, at the campground where we were at. That was actually next to this lake. I'll get to that. Or river. I don't know what it was. It was a stream, and it was muddy, and it had cow poop inside of it. And the water was warm. And we went inside of it. But I don't even know the name of the park or the campground, wherever we were at. We were just in Atwater, that I knew. And so get the picture taken, and then after that, I think everybody just kind of like meandered around for a few minutes, and then we made our way to the campground. I'm sure we followed somebody over there, or Tony just drove there, whatever. I'm sure we followed people over there, because we went up the street, turned around, or the dirt road, went up, turned around, and we were following whoever out to get to, it wasn't very far from Grandma Waltman's house at all. I don't remember how far. It just wasn't far. Maybe a couple of, I don't know, turns. I don't know. And got there, and we were told where we were going to put, because we had a tent, and we were told where to put the tent, and this is where you're going to be. And we were at the far, I'm going to say left. We were all the way far left over here on a corner spot. And right outside where we docked pitched our tent was a picnic table, which was nice. And I remember like, our tent was here, the picnic table was here, but to the right of our tent was this big gigantic tree that hung down. It might have been a weeping willow. I have no idea what kind of tree it was. It was a big gigantic tree, created shade, which was nice. And I helped Tony put the tent up, got it all together, and the day just went however the day went. I don't remember everything that took place. This was a course over a 3-day period. But the first day that we did get there, we might have been there for a couple of hours, and I went to the bathroom which was across the grass, if that was grass. It might have been just dirt and grass and weeds, I don't know, something. And to the bathroom, and I had started my period, and I thought, great, of all times to start my period, it had to have been now. And I told Tony, and I'm like, I started my period, I don't have any Kotex with me. And so we were walking back towards the tent because we needed to go to the store, and Aunt Marie had approached while we were walking towards the tent, and I guess she could see it in my eyes or my face, and that something was wrong, and she had asked me what's wrong, and I said, I started my period, and I don't have anything. And she's like, okay, come with me. And Rita was in her RV, and she goes, go ask my daughter, go knock on the door. She goes, my daughter probably has something in there. And I'm like, no, I didn't know. I just met everybody, kind of, sort of. And I didn't really know anybody. I was afraid to. And she goes, no, go ahead. It's okay. And I'm like, no, you go do it. She's your daughter. And she's like, don't be afraid. Just go knock on the door. And she says, it's okay. Like I said, I was shy, scared, timid. Hard to believe because my personality and that doesn't even match each other, but it did then. And a little, intimidated. I don't know if even intimidated is even the right word. I was just, I don't know, like scared, nervous. Like I said, I met a bunch of relatives at one time, and that was a bit overwhelming. So Aunt Maria, I don't know how many times she said, go knock on the door. It's okay. She's my daughter. Go and ask her. I'm sure she has stuff in there for you to have. And so I knocked on the door, and I'm like, hello. And I heard Rita's voice in there, and I said, your mom said that she asked me to come in, so I opened up the door and just stood there on the stairs, and I'm like, she goes, are you okay? Is everything all right? I'm like, yes, I started my period, and I don't have anything. And she's like, oh, okay. So she went, and she did have something, and she had this napkins and Kotex, and gave me one. I thanked her, and then started walking towards the bathroom. Aunt Marie came with me. Tony came, and I went inside the bathroom, and then when I came out, she's like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I have cramps. And I get real sick. And I'm afraid I'm going to get sick. And I don't know what to do." And I started having tears in my eyes because I was like, great. I meet a new family and now this happens. And I told her I can get really irritable. I didn't want anyone to see me like that. So she's like, all right. And she had told Tony I need to take her to I'm going to take her to the house. And I'm like, what house? Well, Grandma Waltman's house. And I was like, Tony goes, are you going to be okay? You want me to come? And I'm, no. And I looked at Aunt Marie and she goes, you'll be okay. It's all right. Don't be afraid. And like, okay. And Tony goes, it's all right. He goes, they're not like how Mom and Nana are. He goes, it's all right. You'll be fine. He goes, I can come with you. I said, no, it's all right. You don't have to. Enjoy your family. And I went with Aunt Marie. I felt comfortable with Aunt Marie. And she's like, she had told me, I think she had said that her daughter got sick, like me. And I told her I get really bad. And I'm afraid I'm going to get real bad. And I didn't want to get, and I didn't have anything with me. I'm like, I just had a period. Because my periods were always off. And I was like, God, please don't let me get like that. And so someone else came into the car. I don't remember, but Aunt Marie, they drove me to Grandma Waltman's house, told Grandma Waltman what was wrong, and Aunt Marie took me into a bedroom where she stays at, she told me, when she came to stay there and visit. And in the bed that she slept on, it was a small bed, and put me in there. And she got me a heating pad, and then she said, I'll be right back. And then she came back, and she handed me some pills to take. I don't know if they were not aspirin at all. I don't know if they were a pain pill or Midol, or because I told her, I said, that stuff doesn't really work. She gave me something. She handed me 2 pills, 2 white pills, I think. And something for pain. And she said, this will help you. Just trust me. And I'm like, okay, I trust you. And, hugged me and just held me for a minute. And I told her, I said, I'm scared. I don't want to get sick. I started crying a little bit. And I said, I just met everybody. I said, and now this, and I was embarrassed. I felt bad. And she just comforted me and said, don't feel bad. All of us know we've all gone through this before. And it's okay. No one's going to think anything. Thinking, I hope not, and she laid me down and she sat with me for a few minutes and she said, just close your eyes and try to relax and go to sleep. She sat there with me until I fell asleep. I fell asleep right away, she had said afterwards. And she left the door halfway open and said that she came in there and checked on me a couple of times and I was sleeping. And felt my forehead to see if I was warm or had a fever or something like that. But I had gotten up at one point and I went and got sick. And Aunt Marie was right there immediately. And put me back to bed, felt my forehead, made sure I didn't have a fever. That I wasn't having the flu, but so, and laid me back down. She had told me she had left at some point, went back to the campground. Grandma Waltman was at the house. Somebody else, I think aunts and Uncle Tom and Aunt Rose were there. At some point, they brought Tony back with them when she came back, because she left Grandma Waltman's, went to the campground for whatever reason. She was there maybe 20, 30 minutes and got Tony and brought Tony back to the house while I was there. And I remember waking up at some point and hearing talking in the living room. And I tried to go back to sleep and I couldn't. So I sat up, went to the bathroom, and changed because because Tony had went to the store. Someone took him to the store, and she had a Kotex waiting for me there on the little nightstand. And so I went and changed, and then I came out, and they asked me, how do you feel? Do you feel any better? Aunt Marie was right there to comfort me, and I said yes. We stayed there in the house for a little bit. I don't remember how long, and then eventually we went back to the campground. And I need to stop there because I don't want to run out of time with my phone, and I don't want my phone to cut off. And I am taking my time with this.